Well, one of the authorities that Mrs. Idoko has blamed for her situation is the Benue state government. And joining us from Makurdi, the capital of Benue State, is the chairman of the Benue State Action Committee on COVID-19, who is also the deputy governor, Mr. Benson Abono. Good evening, Mr. Abono. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Benue State seems to have been drawn out of this now because it is a federal responsibility. Mrs. Idoko has been moved to Abuja and she's now under federal care. So what was Benue State's role in all of this? Why did Benue State come into the picture at all?
I am really taken aback as to why Benue State is being blamed by Mrs. Idoko in her ordeal. But before I explain, and I would really want to clear the issues, let me say one or two things about myself. I'm a Knight of John Wesley in the Methodist Church, Nigeria. I am an engineer by training, and that makes me an exact scientist, and we don't lie. I am from the same constituency with Mrs. Idoko. She is Idoma, and I'm Idoma. And even though in my office I'm supposed to be fair to all Benue people and indeed all Nigerians, I have a political, it is incumbent upon me politically to defend Mrs. Idoko should her rights be infringed upon. Finally, I am my immediate predecessor in office, the man I took over from, is Mrs. Idoko's elder brother, with whom I am very close. And I will do everything possible to protect him, and indeed will not want any harm to come the way of any member of his family. And so everything I'm going to talk about now is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now, on Tuesday, the 24th of March, I took over as the chairman of COVID-19 in Benue State Action Committee. On Wednesday, the 25th, I was being briefed about all the issues concerning COVID-19 infection in Benue State. And it was during this briefing that I was made to understand that there were two cases that people were suspecting of being infected by COVID-19. One of them is Mrs. Idoko. And as going by the protocol of NCDC, I gave instruction that her sample and the sample of one other young man be taken and sent to Abuja. On Thursday, the 26th, her sample and the sample of the young man were taken and sent to Abuja. On Saturday, the 28th, the results came. The young man was negative and Mrs. Idoko was positive. Now, it took 7 hours, as you said earlier on, in negotiation with her. I didn't just stop there. I got the elder brother who was who is the immediate deputy governor of Benue State to cancel her. And she was on the phone with her 3 times. I got another brother of hers, a vet doctor, to discuss with her, to talk to her, to plead with her. Then finally, at about 7 o'clock in the evening, I went over to the hospital that she reported herself into, and from where we were made to understand she had just come from the UK and she was exhibiting some symptoms which were related to COVID-19. And so at the end of the day, I was with her for 24 minutes in the presence of her younger sister who works in a bank in Makurdi. And I pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. And I called the elder brother again to talk to her even while I was there. And it was only then she was convinced and she willingly went into our isolation center at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital. I told her on that day that to me as a layman, she was looking fairly okay. I asked the doctor came down because she was saying she never saw the result. And I said, look, it was unfair for her not to see the result. So I asked the doctor to bring the result. The doctor brought the result, and I asked her, showed it to her, and I asked her if she had seen this result. She said yes, she had seen the result, but she did not agree with the result because she was not feeling unwell. This was what she said. It is not true if she says she never saw that result because I was there. when the result was shown to her. At the end of the day, I told her that on Monday I was going to come myself to make sure that her sample was taken again, because I asked the doctor, and the doctor said her temperature had come down to normal the previous day, and she was not coughing. So as a layman, I felt she was fairly okay. On Monday morning, I went there myself at 10 o'clock. And the first day I was in the corridor, she came to the threshold of the door, and I was discussing with her because she refused to be attended to by the medical team. And the moment she saw me, she started insulting me. She said I was a liar. I said I was going to come on Sunday. I didn't come. And I told her, no, I didn't say I was coming on Sunday, because Sunday was not a working day. And on Monday, it was Monday I told her I was going to come, and I came on Monday. And I pleaded with her for her sample to be taken so that we'll send it to Abuja. And she refused.
Deputy Governor, I'm sorry, because of our time, this part of the story of how it is, because the controversy has also, of course, moved on to Abuja. So my next question, by way of this discussion to round it up, would be to ask you, now that the health minister, the federal health minister, has confirmed that they're going to redo the tests. She has given the sample, they're going to redo the tests. And they are waiting the results because she has given the sample. Does this now lay this seeming controversy to rest for Benue State and for the Benue State government?
I'm very sorry, but let me say this. By today, according to Mrs. Susan, she had been in isolation center for 51 days. Of these 51 days, she spent only 5 days in our isolation center. And so whatever happened, I don't know why it is Benue's fault. Benue has no testing center. Benue didn't test her. It was the NCDC that tested her and found her to be positive. When she insisted she didn't want to be treated in Makurdi, I made a request by text message to the Honorable Minister of Health. The Honorable Minister of Health replied, and I discussed with him. He spoke with her 2 days consecutively. And when she insisted she wanted to be moved to Abuja, I requested the Honorable Minister to do so. And that was why she was moved on the 2nd of April after 5 nights in our isolation. And since then, she has been in isolation center at the National Hospital in Abuja. So for God's sake, where is the fault of Benue State? Anyway, all I know is that since the 2nd of April,
the Deputy Governor Abono, our time is completely spent. We're going to have to leave it there. The point is that, of course, Benue State now feels that it is out of this and it is now a federal government issue. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Benson Abono, Chairman of the Benue State Action Committee on COVID-19, joining us from Makurdi, the Benue State capital.